Yo, what is up, everybody? Welcome to the Payoff Pitch presented by Fantasy Phenom. I'm Kyle. That's Mike. Here to break down tomorrow's 15-game slate.
Yes, sir. 15-game Tuesday. Wacky Monday nights here in DFS.
As always.
Yeah, it was a wacky one. But, it was interesting, I think. We saw Colorado lost 6 in a row now at the hands of San Francisco, who came out of nowhere to put up, 8 runs today?
Yeah.
Huge, what was it, 24-run output in the Texas-Cleveland game. That really kind of changed the slate. If you didn't have any parts of that game, you weren't going to cash today. So
Texas was up 9-2 and lost 15-9.
Yeah.
Largest
That was
comeback
one of those.
in franchise history for Cleveland, if I'm not
I don't
mistaken.
even think they hit a home run either. It was
didn't.
like 15 runs without a homer. So kind of old school in that sense. You haven't seen that this year at all.
That stack let us down. Dodger stack absolutely let us down.
That was an interesting game. That first game of the day, or not of the day, but of the main slate, the Chicago-Washington game. That was like a 1-0 game, 2-0 game for a long time.
Yep.
And then it looked like it kind of was like a bullpen.
Well, Washington has one of the worst bullpens in the major leagues.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a little bit of an implosion there. So definitely something to keep an eye on going forward. But yeah, definitely an interesting slate.
Bro, you want to talk about a waste of space?
Waste of space.
I totaled 42 points on FanDuel, my late night line. I stacked.
Wow.
I stacked the
In
Dodgers
FanDuel?
in FanDuel. I stacked the Dodgers with Grandal, Bellinger, Utley, and Turner, who amassed a total of 12 points between the four.
Yeah. I
stacked the Rockies with Marquez, who totaled, with Marquez as my pitcher, a total of 3-6-3, so you're looking at 18.5 points with a pitcher. My highest scorer was Cameron Maybin at 12.2 points. He scored higher than my pitcher. My FanDuel late night lineup was
a train wreck, man.
Absolute fire.
I feel you though, because I was kind of hyped for a second there because this whole thing that happened with the Dodgers lineup that they just decided not to release the lineup. They were waiting on trainers news with Corey Seager, I believe.
Yep.
And that lineup didn't come out till like 8:30 Eastern or something like that.
Ridiculous.
And I was kind of pumped because I was all on the Dodgers against Ricky Nolasco, and I was like, they're going to get lower ownership today. And I liked Colorado with the wind blowing out there against Samardzija, who's been terrible against Colorado. So a lot of my lineups were focused on that late slate. Sure enough, Colorado and the Dodgers combined for 2 runs, and that pretty much sunk me as I was pretty hopeful going into the night because most of my lineups had Jordan Montgomery and Chris Sale, who were the top 2 scoring pitchers. So
I got to give you credit.
I went from pretty happy and to pretty not happy pretty quick.
I give you credit on those 2 pitchers, man. I wasn't on Chris Sale or Montgomery last night. You guys heard that. I was all over Berrios, who delivered half the output of Sale. So props to you. The one thing that saved me is I played DK today. I had a 5-man Texas stack in every single lineup that cashed. I had a 5-man Texas stack with variations. I had Andrus in every single one. I had Beltre in every single one.
That was the DFS stack to have, man. They hit bombs.
So I'll give myself a pat on the back for that Texas stack. I was on that since last night. But other than that, my lineups were ass. So at least I cashed and recovered some money. But tomorrow's a new day, man.
Yeah. Yeah. So top 5 pitchers today were Jordan Montgomery, Chris Sale, Ricky Nolasco, Gio Gonzalez, and Jeff Samardzija. At least on DraftKings, him and Rich Hill were pretty close in points, so they might have been flip-flopped on FanDuel. But Rich Hill, 2 straight solid performances from him. Actually pitched into the 7th inning today, which is
surprising.
The first time all season. So,
dude,
I guess Gio. He does have a leash.
Fuck, man, if I would have played Gio with Sale,
yeah. No, I feel you, man. I had Montgomery and Sale. I felt good going into the late games, man. I felt really good. It's all good, though. Andrews was the only double dong of the day. Again, if you had that Texas stack with him, you probably saw some money, saw some green.
Facts.
But we'll move on to a 15-game slate. Again, very different strategies going into a 15-game slate than a 6-game slate. A lot of nice pitching performance or
Prospects.
pitching, prospects to look at tomorrow. So I guess we'll dive in.
And we start with this first game, man. I think Max should be the lock tomorrow. You have your top 5 pitching options on tomorrow's slate are Max Scherzer, 12 on DraftKings, 13 on DraftKings, 12 on FanDuel. Carlos Martinez is 9-7 on FanDuel, 11-3 on DraftKings. Luis Severino is 9-2 on FanDuel, 10-1 on DraftKings. James Paxton is 8-7 on DraftKings and 8-5 on FanDuel. Dan Straley is 8-5 on DraftKings and 8-1 on FanDuel. And then there's 2 outliers on FanDuel, and that's Jake Arrieta at 9,400. He's priced at 75 on DraftKings, and Justin Verlander is 93 on FanDuel, making him the fourth highest. Arrieta is the third, and 84 on DraftKings.
So FanDuel giving a little bit more respect to the accomplished pitchers. Scherzer, probably the best pitcher in baseball. Dude's got a serious swagger about him right now. And I think you can arguably say this is the best we've ever seen from Scherzer.
Mike and I were
double-digit strikeouts in 6 straight games.
We were talking before the show about the Diamondbacks arguably being home to 2 of the worst trades in recent memory. They traded Max Scherzer for Ian Kennedy and Phil Koch.
No, Phil Koch went to Detroit. It was a 3-team trade.
They got
Detroit and the Yankees.
Ian Kennedy and someone else that's not playing. And then, obviously, we know the Dansby Swanson trade. So...
Yeah, you can with Shelby Miller, right? So
that's right, yeah. But yeah, Max Scherzer, I'm with you, man. Dude's holding a 35% strikeout rate on the year. He has been unhittable versus righties. Almost a 50% K rate. It's a little bit of rounding. It's 45.6, but for good measure, 50%. I mean, it's ridiculous what he's doing versus right-handed bats. Obviously, there is some power on the left-handed bats in this lineup, but I think that Scherzer can maneuver around that. I would say Rizzo and Happ are probably the 2 that come to mind. Other than that, Bryant, Contreras, Russell, Baez is your right-handed power, and though we know what Scherzer can do to right-handed bats. I'm not worried whatsoever about it, and Chicago struggles versus righties. They have a home run per fly ball rate of 5.5% less. They strike out 1.5% more of the time. They have a 177 ISO compared to a 203 ISO versus lefties. Their average is lower, 20 points lower. Just everything makes sense for Scherzer tomorrow.
Yeah, I think 13K is almost a bargain. I'm curious to see what his ownership will even be on a 15-game slate. I guarantee if this was a 6-game slate like today, he'd be close to 14K on DraftKings. But like you said, 35% K rate this year. He's 32 years old. Like I said earlier, I think you can make the argument this is the best we've ever seen. If you look at his strikeout rate over the course of the last 4 seasons, it's progressively gotten better. Went from 27 to 30 to 31, now at 35. And you can kind of attribute that to his out pitch, which is his slider that's also gotten progressively better. As a K percentage and a batting average against. His fastball velocity is the best it's ever been at 95%. That's something you look at if someone is still trending upward in velocity, Yeah. I think this is what we're seeing from Scherzer, and if you've watched his last 2 starts, you know what we're talking about. The only thing I can say about the Cubs, Baez is playing well. He had another 2-hit game today. Also had 2 walks, I believe, which is different for him. And then if you look at the BVP pitch tab that we have in the spreadsheet, Contreras is really the only guy that has significantly good numbers against a slider. He did hit a home run today, so maybe if you did want to fade, he might be an interesting one-off. But yeah, I don't recommend it.
Yeah, I'm with you. Scherzer all the way. Over his last 3 starts, he has a 117 average against him.
Yeah, and double-digit strikeouts in 6 straight. So he's also struck out double-digit He also has double-digit strikeouts versus teams like the Dodgers, Arizona. I don't know. Those come to mind, but still good teams,
Yep, I'm with you. Jake Arrieta has a severely depressed price on DraftKings tomorrow, 7,500. Do you look at it at all?
On my 15-game slate, I don't know. I don't think so. There is some regression coming for him. If you look at all the regression numbers, like xFIP, BABIP, and left on base percentage, they all suggest that he will regress in a sense. He's coming off right. He is coming off a pretty solid performance in his last start, but again, it's a 15-game slate. There's a lot of good pitching options today, so 7,500 is intriguing. But with Scherzer on the other side of the matchup, I don't know, not for me.
I'm with you. Tampa Bay, Pittsburgh. Neither of these two guys really make the top 2 to attack, nor the top 2 to play. Alex Cobb has been pitching decent over his last 3 starts. He hasn't given up a home run, great fly or ground ball rate. One thing that's concerning is he does hold almost a 50% hard contact rate. I feel like that's a recipe for disaster. Trevor Williams been decent, nothing crazy with him. I don't think he screams attack either. He actually gives up almost 3 times as many home runs to righties as he does lefties on the year. Holds a 22% hard contact rate on the year versus lefties. So, talking about the power coming from the left-handed bats here, I think Tampa's not my favorite stack, along with the fact that it is in Pittsburgh. I just think this might be an entire game fade. Both sides, pitchers, bats, everything.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think it's just kind of a tough game to figure out. Tampa versus Pittsburgh. When's the last time we've even seen that game? I don't even know. I'm sure it hasn't been for a few years. Cobb, like you said, 3 straight quality starts, 7 on the season. He's actually pitching on an extra day of rest, and he's in Pittsburgh, which is the pitcher's park, and he's playing in the NL. So there are some definite positive factors going in Cobb's favor, but again, it's a 15-game slate with some solid pitching options, so it didn't really make my top 5 either.
Agree. Baltimore, Toronto. Kevin Gausman, however, is a guy we're looking at attacking. His last 3 starts have not been good. His whole season's not been good, but his last 3 starts have been extraordinarily bad, and his road splits are horrendous. He's given up a home run per 9 of 2.172 on the road, a WOBA of 431 with a 440 WOBA in his last 3 starts, high hard contact rate, high fly ball rate, high average against him, 371 average against him in the last couple starts. Toronto does hit better at home. I don't think that's a surprise. You're looking at a 320 WOBA, 176 ISO at home. The nice thing about them is their strikeout rate goes down almost 2% at home compared to the road. I'm sorry. So, with any limited upside there was in Gausman, I think it's not there. And to boot, they hit righties much better than lefties, power-wise.
Yeah, he's got a whip almost up to 2. Now we want to see. Obviously, it goes in line with, like you said, his batting average against. For what it's worth, he has 3 starts versus Toronto this year and hasn't been bad. Only given up 5 earned runs, but he does carry, ERA almost 6.5. He's been blown up a few times this season already. So
I think it's worth noting with how we talked. You just mentioned that he's pitched against them already. You said the last start was May the 20th. If I'm not mistaken, correct. Josh Donaldson wasn't back in the lineup. Troy Tulowitzki was not there.
Yeah, it's a totally different team. I agree.
So
I don't know. I keep looking at Gausman and being like, he looks to me like, I don't know, he shouldn't be this bad. For some reason, I get that feeling about him, but he has been for a good stretch here. So, I agree. I think Toronto, and I wonder what their prices are tomorrow. I think you might be able to get Toronto in a good spot.
They're not bad.
Cheaper than you usually do.
Josh Donaldson's 41 on DraftKings. He's 38 on FanDuel. It's low priced up. Kendrys Morales is only 39. Jose Batista is only 39. Russell Martin's 37. Troy Tulowitzki's down to 32. That might be a little underpriced for what he can do.
Right, so it could be a nice spot.
Agree.
I think so.
Looking at Kansas City, Detroit, we have two pitchers that that made our list here. Justin Verlander on one of the guys we're looking to play, and Matt Strahm is one of the guys we're looking to stack against. Detroit has absolutely murdered left-handed pitching from a power standpoint. You're looking at almost a 200 ISO versus left-handed pitching, and their home-away splits are also extremely drastic. They strike out almost 5% less at home than they do on the road. They carry an ISO of almost 40 points higher at home, a WOBA of over 50 points higher. So it's no secret Detroit plays better at home where they are tomorrow. Power department, they get a left-handed pitcher. I just think everything's matching up to attack Matt Strahm tomorrow.
Yeah, they're better versus lefties. Strahm, he's a rookie starter. He pitched 22 games out of the bullpen last year, and they kind of thought that was going to be his role. But now Danny Duffy gets hurt. Nate Carnes, obviously, been on the DL for a while. So here comes Matt Strahm. He's actually a Baseball America Top 100. Kansas City's #1 prospect. He's had a good K percentage out of the bullpen, but we know that doesn't really translate to the starter role as well as you'd think it would. Played well versus LA, did not play well versus Boston, didn't really strike anybody out. So you mentioned, Detroit hits better versus lefties and at home, so I agree. This is definitely a spot you're trying to check this rookie lefty with some bats that know what they're doing.
And then Justin Verlander is a guy I think is an intriguing SP2 option tomorrow on DraftKings. He's 8,300, 8,400, one of the two. He's pitched well in his last 3 starts. He hasn't given up a home run. He's got a K percentage of over 26%, an average against him of only 227. The one concerning thing is the hard contact against him has seemingly been a problem for him all year.
He's been up and down. He really has, man. It's been a tough roster for sure. I've done it off and on. He did play well against Seattle in his last start, but still it's been tough. I think on DraftKings you look at the pricing here, and you've got probably 7 or 6 options here within $800 of each other. I'm talking between Paxton at 87 and Quintana at 79. All of these guys are, I think we would both consider playing. So definitely kind of where I'm targeting. I think the ownership will just be spread out a little bit. I think Verlander won't really get the nod like we think he would, and we know what his pedigree is, obviously. Did win the Cy Young last year, whether you like it or not. He does know this team, and they know him. BBP alarm. We don't really have an alarm, do we?
I don't think so. We don't have a little sound. I'm not gonna attempt one.
We need to get somebody on that. Yeah, if you're listening and you know how to do that, like where we just press a button and there's an alarm, just hit us up. But yeah, Sal Perez, 58 plate appearances, 418 batting average, 2 homers, 8 doubles. So something to look at. He's really the only guy that I saw that jumped off the page though, and there's a lot of solid. Sample sizes.
Buyer beware. BBP.
Yes, beware. Absolutely.
Never, ever, 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 ever roster a guy solely on BBP. Batters
right,
change.
But then you also got to look at.
Change.
Again, you also got to look at. I think you make the same case with numbers versus lefties. I mean, you look at the plate appearances here for the Detroit Tigers against lefties. All those numbers we said they're good against lefties. I mean, same sort of sample sizes. So I think
agree.
Pre All-Star break with some stats versus lefties, I proceed with caution as well.
Fair. Milwaukee, Cincinnati. I think Junior Guerra is a guy we're looking to attack with Cincinnati at home. Didn't have their best showing today in St. Louis in a makeup game, but they get to go back to the friendly confines of Great America. That's the ballpark name, right? Great America?
Great American Ballpark.
There you go.
Yes, sir.
They get to face Junior Guerra, who's not been fantastic this year. Not been great over his last 3 starts. He's having a little bit of a home run problem. On the flip, I think, this has game stack potential. Tim Adelman's not been fantastic either. Has flashed a little bit of K upside, and so I would rather attack Guerra than Adelman, because if Adelman's pitches are on, we know that Milwaukee can strike out. That's the only caution I have. I don't pitch Adelman tomorrow, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's gonna go like anyone that has K potential against the Brewers. It's gonna go one of two ways. They'll get blown up, or they'll have a good game, or they'll have a respectable game with some Ks.
I'm be curious to see what Vegas does with this game and with the last game we talked about, and see what happens there closer to lock. Yeah. So, I think this is definitely a game stack. Looking at it up from the surface, both these guys do have sort of a home run problem. Each of them have given up a home run in, each of their last 7 starts, where Guerra's 6 out of their last 7 starts. And walks galore, man. You're talking double-digit walks in 7 straight for Adelman. And Guerra has 3 or more walks in 6 straight. So we're talking about putting people on for free, and a home run problem. Not saying that these two teams really walk a ton, but, definitely don't want to pitch either of these guys. And I think there's a lot of home run or bust on both these lineups. So I think there's definitely some one-offs I like here. Maybe some 2-man stacks if you can try to figure out who's going to get the free passes and then get hit home. So
Scooter legit. Is Scooter Jeanette legit?
Scooter legit. That's Scooter legit.
Is he legit, or is he having a flash in the pan type year?
I don't know. I think you said the same thing about all these Cincinnati players. I think you could say the same thing about Duval, Suarez, and Schebler.
Well, Duval's always flashed power. I mean, he's hitting better than where he has for his career, but he's always been a home run or nothing guy. Schebler is a little surprising, but Scooter's the one that jumps out, man.
Yeah, if you're comparing them, obviously he's the one that definitely jumps out. I don't know that he's legit. It's too early. It's too early to tell. It's too early to tell.
It is. It's tough. I'm interested to see where it plays out, but they're gonna have a tough decision on their hands when Kozar comes back. I wouldn't be surprised to see Peraza hit the bench.
Yeah,
they gotta find a spot for Jeanette. There's no way you can bench.
They're invested in Peraza.
Yeah, but there's no. I don't know how you bench. Maybe send Suarez. Maybe they alternate Suarez and Peraza. I just don't see how you're gonna fade Scooter, with his performance. Or maybe he's a trade candidate.
They do like to trade off good players.
We'll see. Minnesota, Boston. Mike's looking at Drew Pomeranz, so I'll let him talk about him.
Yeah, it's a scary play. I think just like Verlander, it's a tough guy. It's a tough click, man. When you're talking about clicking on Pomeranz, he's got that knuckle curve that he throws a hell of a lot. It's almost like every other pitch is this knuckle curve. So obviously, I looked at what Minnesota does against the curveball. The only plus bats were Polanco and Mauer, who really don't strike out much anyway. And he's got the K potential, and he's got 7+ Ks in half his starts, and it's just going to be kind of up and down, really. And I think Milwaukee does show the potential to strike out as well. So, yeah, Minnesota. Sorry. I think it's an interesting GPP play tomorrow. That's from a strikeout upside perspective, and just looking at what this team does against that curve, and he's just got to come with it. If he comes to play. He generally shows up and plays well.
New York and Miami. 2 guys from this game we're looking at as well. One to attack, which is Robert Gsellman. Not been good in his last 3 starts at all. He holds a .431 WOBA against him. His strikeouts are down, and his home runs are way up in his last 3 starts. You're talking... he's facing a team that has legit power. Marcell Ozuna has been ridiculous. Justin Bour... We know what he's been doing. We know what Stanton's been doing. So,
yeah. No, Gsellman's already had 3 starts against Miami this year. He's given up 4 home runs. 3 of them have come from Marcell Ozuna. He's too cheap on DraftKings. I think that's enough for me. If he's already hit 3 home runs off a pitcher and it's not even July,
yeah.
To kind of target that.
What are your thoughts on Bour? 3,700 on DraftKings. He's cheap at 3K.
I don't know. I'd have to look at the whole first base pricing. I really haven't looked at it from it, but yeah, it does seem cheap to me.
3K is cheap on FanDuel, so that's an interesting play. D. Gordon is fairly priced at 3K, leading off, looking there. So
not only does Gazelman giving up those home runs to Ozuna, but in his last 2 starts, he's given up 6 homers, 14 earned runs, and 20 hits. And that's 2 starts. So he's coming in and really struggling. I don't really even know why he's still in this rotation. To be honest with you, I mean, don't they have Mats and somebody else?
Well, they have a bunch of divas. They have the doctor, so the self-diagnosing doctor that's injured right now. They have Matt Harvey, who blows up on people for dating his ex-girlfriend. They have...
well, those guys are still in the rotation. I'm talking about potential people that can take his spot. I mean, I feel like there's got to be somebody else.
Montero.
I think the Mets are going to be in sell mode, man. It's the only way to think about it.
Fuck it, dude. Get a guy off the street. I don't know. But
I like Straley tomorrow, though.
I do too. He's been pitching well over his last 3 as well. Got a high strikeout rate, 27%. Limiting home runs, only a 0.5 home run per 9 over his last 3 starts. That's a nice thing. And as Mike kind of pointed out earlier, his splits versus lefties are fantastic. Almost a 29% K rate, 180 average against, and very little home runs, 0.2 home runs per 9 versus lefties, and that's where the power comes from in the Mets lineup.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I think that's kind of why I started looking at him. I saw what he's been doing recently. He's only given up 1 earned run in his last 2 starts, and it came on a Rayburn home run. And those 2 starts were versus Washington and at Atlanta, both tricky spots to pitch. He has had a walk problem of his career, but in his last 5 starts, he's only walked 3 batters, which is something I look for as an improvement. Talked about the numbers versus lefties already. Yeah, I think there are some lefties that concern me over the last 2 weeks. Granderson's hit several home runs. Bruce has hit, I think, 4 home runs in his last 2 weeks. Conforto's cooled off.
But he's still Conforto. Dude is still Duda. I mean,
right.
These guys can...
Exactly. And Straley is fastball slider. He doesn't really do much else. But he has had really good starts this season. And I know we usually target the Mets with lefties, but seeing what Straley does versus lefties, it makes me take a second look. And I think couple him between Verlander and Paxton on DraftKings, I think you're going to get him sneaky.
I agree. Quickly to touch on Texas-Cleveland, I think Mike Clevenger is someone we can attack just from the standpoint of how hot Texas has been. Tyson Ross...
That's pretty much where I'm at.
Yeah, I think you can attack Tyson Ross as well. It's still Cleveland. They can break out at any point, as they showed today. Obviously, they were cold coming into today for the last 3 games. Had a nice showing. I don't know.
I just look at Clevenger, and I look at this Texas lineup, and what they've been doing, like you said, on this road trip. It's been
they've been unreal.
I played all the wrong bats today, but it's all good.
Play Beltre while he's hot. Word of advice. Seriously, play Beltre while he's hot. He's coming up on 3,000 hits.
What you said about Gomez today.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, Beltre's coming up on 3,000 hits. Narrative, just saying.
True.
Andrus double dong, as we mentioned today. Shin-Soo Choo had another good game. Mazzara had a good game. Mazzara was...
Yeah, these guys are cheap, too.
He was criminally underpriced on FanDuel today. So I jumped all over that. Hopefully, again, I'm going to continue to rant this. I still got to find Jeff Bannister's Twitter and tweet him out because I cannot stand the fact that he does not play Robinson Chirinos over Jonathan Lucroy. I'm going to tweet him until he blocks me.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Maybe Cleveland will take Lucroy now.
They do need him.
Looking at New York and Chicago, 2 guys that are in play. Jose Quintana has been lights out his last couple starts. Holds a 224 average against him. He's been shutting down lefties all year. There won't be any Starlin Castro tomorrow. I know that they called up a second baseman, correct?
Tyler Wade, yes, he is has been bred as a utility player. He's played everything on the infield, including and the outfield in AAA. He's been in AAA for at least a year and a half now. And from listening to the beat writer of the Scranton Rail Riders, he says that Tyler Wade is the most major league ready player on that entire team, over Austin, who's already come up. So, yeah, I don't know that he has like legit power, but when you're talking about like he does everything right, says the right things, he plays good in the field, he plays all the positions, he hits for average, he's got a good approach. So, I don't know if he's a DFS play, but he probably will be in this lineup.
By the way, I figured out how teams are going to beat the whole Judge and Sanchez two-man.
Just continue to walk Judge.
No, you walk them both. The rest of the lineup is cold.
Pretty much.
So just walk Judge and Sanchez, and then you get to face the rest of the lineup.
You want to hear a crazy stat?
What's up?
They said on the Yankees broadcast today, because Judge walked an additional 2 times today. He now has 51 walks in the season. The last rookie to have 100 walks in a season was in 1954.
Damn.
So, crazy.
He thinks he's Barry Bonds or something.
Yeah, I mean, he leads the AL in average, on base, everything. So, I don't know what's going on, man. Aaron Judge is an animal. I don't think anybody would have predicted that after a 40% K rate last year.
I sure didn't. And then what about Severino? I know you're looking at him as a GPP option, as always.
Yeah, I think these pitchers are kind of trending in opposite directions. Quintana has 24 Ks in 24 innings in his last 4 starts. They're all road starts. For what it's worth, he has given up 9 out of his 12 home runs at home in 3 fewer games. But like you said, he is trending in the right direction. Severino has kind of stumbled a bit, but he's got an extremely good start against the White Sox on his resume here this season. So
who's more fragile, Luis Severino or Michael Pineda?
Michael Pineda, by far. That was an easy one. Severino, the thing about him is that he overpowers you with the fastball. He's got the highest average fastball velocity in the majors, but he needs to have that slider working to make the fastball, people respect it.
Yeah, otherwise they just sit and wait on it.
Yep.
Oakland, Houston, Mike Fire. I believe this is an exact rematch of last week, where
God, can this game just go away?
Right, we attacked Mike Fires last week. It didn't work. Now we're moving Oakland to the road, where they're significantly worse. Mike Fires has been, believe it or not, fucking fantastic in his last couple starts.
I think I've still tried to attack Mike Fires for like 5 straight games, and he's just burned me every single time, man.
Bro,
now it's just like I can't do it anymore.
I can't
What's
either.
What's going on?
He holds a 17% hard contact rate over the last 3 starts.
I know, like a batting average against of something ridiculous.
And WOBA against him of 215. What in the holy hell?
I don't know what's going on, man.
This dude went from giving up 15 home runs in 4 starts to no home runs in his last 3 with a hard contact percentage of 17%.
Yeah, like I said, he's given up 18 home runs in the year, and he hasn't given up 1 in each of his last 5 starts.
Oh, there you go.
So, what happened? I don't know. I don't know what happened. I don't think you can really go after it. I mean, to me, it's just it looks like a great spot. I mean, this guy gives up bombs, and that's all Oakland does to score runs is hit solo home runs. So for DFS, it seems like a great place to go. And I'm still intrigued by it. I still am, and I'm kind of intrigued by Sean Manaea. His price on DraftKings is too cheap for what his talent is at 6,200. He's coming off a start in Oakland against, like you said, against Mike Fires and Houston, and he went 6 strong. He had a quality start, 6 strong, struck out 8. I generally don't like targeting Houston, especially if they just face this guy.
Yeah.
So that's really it. But still, I mean, it's intriguing.
The one thing that concerns me is Oakland's home road splits, and they're legit. I mean, a 218 ISO at home, 151 on the road, 332 WOBA at home, 294 on the road. They strike out more. They hit less home runs per fly ball, an average of 20 points lower. Am I crazy to think that Mike Fiers could have a SP2 worthy game tomorrow against a team that has a high strikeout rate?
I don't even know anymore.
I'm don't even know anymore, man. I'm just throwing it out there. Mike Fiers he's always been a K potential guy, and you pair him with a team that strikes out more than I did in middle school, and
I know, but then you can make the case that you got that short porch and right. These guys hit home runs. I mean, I think this game just makes me mad. So I don't know where to go. I really don't. I could see myself picking one-offs to hit home runs against Mike Fiers. I could see myself trying to play Sean Manaea and failing miserably.
It's intriguing.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a weird game.
Carlos Martinez is in Arizona tomorrow, and he's the second highest priced pitcher on DraftKings. I mean, sure enough, because it's DFS, he'll go out and absolutely dominate the Diamondbacks, but I just can't justify paying that much for a guy in Arizona. I'll find a way to get that extra $1,700 on DraftKings and pay for max.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, I don't think you get cute about it. I mean,
Arizona dominates.
Yeah, no one's going to play Martinez, but there's a reason, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think both these guys are hard throwers. Both these guys walk a ton. I don't really see myself wanting to pay up in this game for bats.
Same.
But I think if this lineup gives us some value, I think playing value
could work out
in this game in Arizona could work out. Yeah.
Colorado SF, we have Jeff Hoffman and Matt Cain. Both guys have pitched dominantly, respectively, in their locations. Jeff Hoffman holds a 141 average on the road with a 166 ISO and 33% K rate. Matt Cain at home this year holds a 270 average against a 307 WOBA and a 25% fly ball rate in a park that fly balls already die in. So, dare I say, pitcher's duel.
Stranger things have happened. I mean, those are 3 starts on the road for Jeff Hoffman. He's looked outstanding in his road starts. He's coming off of a really bad start at home, I believe, versus
the Giants.
Arizona Giants.
No, it might have been.
So
no, it might have been Arizona. I know. I something tells me he's played the Giants and he didn't do well. I could be wrong.
Let me look. Either way, I know his last start was by far his worst. He got blown up. Yeah, against Arizona, he got blown up for 9 earned runs. So I think people might look at that and get shy away from him. But like I said, his road starts, those 3 starts came in Chicago, at San Diego, at Philadelphia, and he was dominant. If you look at those numbers, you can see why. He's a top prospect, top 50 Baseball America prospect. Has 4 pitches, curveball, slider. If I look at this correctly, his curveball slider has only yielded 4 total hits this whole season. It's kind of crazy. But yeah, he's been kind of unhittable on the road, so I think he's definitely played tomorrow in San Francisco against this team.
Giants are still ass. Don't let today fool you.
Colorado, again, lost 6 in a row now.
Yeah, that's the one concern.
So it's cause for concern.
And then Matt Cain, 4,500, cheapest pitcher on DraftKings. I don't hate it tomorrow. I really don't.
Yeah, I just really don't think you have to go there. We talked about so many good pitching options, you know.
Yeah. We have James Paxton, Aaron Nola. Aaron Nola, again, is having a nice year, man. I've loved this guy's stuff since last year. I'm excited that he's back. James Paxton has not had a good start since he came back from injury. He holds a 393 average against him with a 459 WOBA. Definitely not the same pitcher we saw pre-injury. Way more home runs than he's given up on the year. Prior to that, We do mention that Philly has some power versus lefties, but it is in Seattle where home runs go to die. To me, I kind of view this as a bat fade, but I'm not really looking to pitch. I view this as a game fade. Let's put it that way. I don't really want to play any bats, but I don't want to pitch any pitchers on a 15-game slate. Maybe I get some consideration in the late night.
Yeah, I mean, Paxton's got the stuff. He's shown it this season. But kind of on a wait-and-see approach with him. Had that lengthy DL stint in May, hasn't shown up since. So I know he gets a good matchup at home. And I think people will be on it. People like Paxton, and people like targeting Philadelphia. So I think people will be on it. So for that reason, I think I'll let him burn me if he goes out and has a bounce-back performance. I'm just kind of on a wait-and-see approach with him. And then Nola at his price could be sneaky as well. He comes off his best start of the season against St. Louis. Seattle isn't, I would say is a little bit of a tougher opponent.
I think the one thing that's nice about, you mentioned that if Paxton burns you, is Paxton really shouldn't alter your lines more so than the other 6 guys we've mentioned that are in that same price range, right? So unless all of the other 5 guys absolutely just blow up and Paxton dominates, your lines will not drastically be affected if Paxton goes out and has a good game. As long as he's not head and shoulders above the field, and you receive a similar output from any of those guys in that price range, your lineup construction won't change more than maybe 1 or 2 guys to fit the other guys in, depending on if you go up or down.
Yeah, just looking at it on the surface, I could see him getting more people looking at him.
No, for sure. I'm just talking about if he goes out and has a good game, and I don't think you really get burned by it unless the other guys blow up or he's head and shoulders the best pitcher.
Right.
I think we're gonna go back to LA tomorrow.
I don't see why not. Let's try it out again, man. We saw a different lineup today a little bit, I believe, right?
Yeah.
Did Seager play today? Oh, he did play today.
No, he didn't.
Oh, he didn't?
Did not play. That's why we got the lineup so late.
Right.
Who knows if he'll play tomorrow? I don't know. Until I see him on the DL.
We got an okay game. I think he continues to swing okay. Show discipline at the plate. Peterson let me down, but again, this Los Angeles team, one of the best offenses in baseball. Chavez gives it long ball. I don't know. I think you just go right back there. It's just kind of the same situation as today with Alaska.
Yeah, I think today was an outlier. The Dodgers aren't all of a sudden cold. At least I hope not. And Chavez has not been good in his last 3 starts anyways, giving up a 404 WOBA, strikeouts are down, home runs are up. So a lot of things trending in the wrong direction for him, with the LA bats trending in the right direction overall. Los Angeles Dodgers, I should say. And then,
I think Maeda might be in play, but I just don't like his price. I think there's other places at his price I'd rather go to.
He never goes deep into games either. Him getting into the 6th inning is rare.
Yeah.
You'll find
like Rich Hill.
You'll find a holographic Charizard card before you see Kenta Maeda go into the 6th inning.
I'm just saying, Rich Hill, man. Who knows?
You'll see a holographic Pikachu card before you see Dave Roberts manage a game effectively.
Hatred.
And then, finally, we have Wallace Chassin and Sean Newcomb, both interesting. Sean Newcomb gets a beautiful park shift going to San Diego, and we know what Wallace Chassin has done at home. Holds a 161 average at home this year. I don't think you can consider that a fluke at this point with the amount of home starts he's had. A 220 WOBA against him. Does a great job of limiting hard contact, keeping the ball on the ground. His price is going to continue to remain in that lower mid-tier price because of the upside is, I think, capped. But he's, I don't want to say safe, but I would argue, the safest play in that region, given what he does at home.
Yeah, I think I'm higher on Newcomb than I am Chassin just because
The upside?
of his potential.
Yeah.
And San Diego is not good, and this ballpark is favorable. I think, he has the potential to go out and show us his best start ever,
San Diego holds a 214 average on the year versus lefties. I know you say small sample size, but there's something to be said about the fact that you're barely above the Mendoza line versus lefties on the season as a team.
Right. And, Newcomb's got good stuff. I think he's here to stay.
Agree. Atlanta
they wouldn't have brought him
anything
up.
they don't have anything to play for. They're just seeing what they have.
Hmm. Now, he hasn't been elite with his strikeouts. I'm not sure how that has translated, what he was like in the minors, to be honest with you. I have to do some more research on that, but
don't worry.
Still, I mean, I guess, like I said, I think this is a spot for him to go out and have his best start ever.
Don't worry about that. Dylan Covey struck out the Padres 8 times.
That's right.
Anything can happen.
Dylan Covey can do it.
Sean Newcomb can.
That's right.
So, all right, just to recap where we're at. Top 5 pitchers that we are looking at are Max Scherzer, Justin Verlander, Dan Straley, Jose Quintana, Jeff Hoffman, and 2 GPP plays, severe GPP plays, Luis Severino and Drew Pomeranz. The guys we are looking to attack are Kevin Gausman, Matt Strahm, Mike Clevenger, Jesse Chavez, Junior Guerra, and then other GPP plays to attack Robert Gsellman and why am I forgetting the other guy's name? It is Hector Santiago.
Yeah, I don't think we really talked about him, but yeah.
So
bad lefties in that park don't usually fare well.
No. So.
Yes.
All right. Well,
it's going to be a fun 15-game slate. Again, adjust your strategies. I think we've kind of
bounce back day.
Yes, have a little bounce back day, I think.
Tonight I took an L, but tomorrow I bounce back. Big Sean took that from me, by the way. So.
Okay.
We're back tomorrow, obviously. I'll keep you guys updated with the lock show. I really hope to make it. However, I'm doing a little more home viewing tomorrow. So I will keep you guys updated on time and where I'm at. Obviously, we'll have sheets updated. Shout out to Sydney, my man. Helped me out with that. And, of course, Mike and everyone else that, pitches in. But we'll make sure you guys are taken care of. I'll do my best to get the lock show in. Again, if you guys are interested in joining the team, the community, getting the best of everything, we got golf, WNBA, all those different channels in there, MMA, a lot of good minds in there. Just hit that little subscribe link down below. Get your 7-day free trial. If nothing else, cancel at any time before those 7 days. No harm, no foul. But, of course, appreciate you guys tuning into the YouTube video, listening to us rant about dumb shit, along with a little bit of baseball knowledge. So
we try. Definitely big baseball fans, that's for sure. I definitely give you guys encouragement to give it a shot, give it a try, see what we got. Especially now that we're diving deep into this, if you think that you need to take another step in your baseball DFS life.
And we're getting mad hyped up for football. I have been already working on projections. And I'm excited to say that I'm recreating 2016, the last 4 weeks of the year. I'm working on quarterbacks right now, and I have successfully been able to recreate, within range, 3 successful games of Week 14 so far. So just hitting the surface, but we're on I feel like I'm on the right track with projecting NFL. As you guys know, obviously we jumped into basketball as our first sport, so this will be a first time for NFL, but I'm excited to see where it's going to go. I have confidence that I'm already on the right track with those projections. So,
yeah, I've been playing NFL DFS for a long time. I'm excited to kind of bring it to the community in a sense. But like we said, we've started up. So if you guys got feedback, or not only that, but advice or something that you want to see, let us know. This is the time to do so. We are getting prepped and ready to go. But yeah, I think it's a lot of fun. Most of all, being part of the community, so
appreciate all you guys.
I want to say thanks to everybody that is a part of the community. Getting the free roll, check it out, try out playing some DFS.
Facts. So, all right, guys, we'll have a wonderful night. Appreciate you guys tuning in, or a wonderful morning, depending on when you're listening. And make it a profitable Tuesday. We'll see you guys in like 10 hours.
Yep, something like that.